Ron, you've been steadfast all season long in your determination to be patient and steer the long course for this team and for the organization. What does that mean? And do you fear there's been any misinterpretation as far as next year and the year after goes, as far as your expectations for what the fans should expect for the next couple of years?
Yeah, we're staying with the course that we set out from the get-go. We're gonna keep our young players, and we're gonna keep our draft picks for the most part. And we added some this year, obviously. I think the other side of that is we're not going to lose what this organization is all about, which is trying to win every day. So our goal this summer is to look around and try to get better for next year. And if there's some moves we can make, we're going to make them. If there's free agents that we can look at and sign, we're going to do that. But we're not going to. We owe it to our fans, and we owe it to our players, and we owe it to the organization to be the best we can be every year. So we're going to be doing everything we can do to be better next year, and I truly believe we will be.
Why have you been inconsistent? How much of that has to do with the coach, and how much of it has to do with the players, in your mind?
Well, I think as a player, you always feel like it's you have responsibility, and then collectively the players. But I think we all have responsibility. Myself, the coaches and the players, we've all got a certain amount of responsibility there. And I think part of the maturing process, part of the growing process is looking back now and saying, okay, we need to learn from this. Like, I'll have meetings with the players, obviously, at the end of the year here. That's one of the things I'm going to harp on is we have to look back and say, okay, our road record, our penalty kill, our lack of consistency is why we're here right now. We have to find ways collectively to be better at that. I think when you go through a season like we've gone through, you want to kind of flush it away, but you got to learn from it first. So for us to move forward and to be a better team, the first part of it is saying, okay, we're going to learn from our mistakes this year, and we're going to get better at it next year. So that November game that maybe you don't think means that much and you let down a little bit, we got to realize now that that game and a few of those other games cost us a spot in the playoffs.
As you look forward, as you try to improve the team externally, is leadership, is that a priority? Bringing in another guy who will be a strong voice, or not at this stage?
I think character is important to me. It's always been important to me. I think, you can argue character might be more important now than it was even 20, 30 years ago because of the money and long-term contracts and all that kind of stuff that are going around. So I believe in character. I believe in honest players. And if you bring in a player with character and honesty, he's gonna add to your leadership group. And the more guys you kind of get locked into that leadership group, the stronger you're going to be. So it'll be a priority. But again, I also believe it's in our room. I think, I'll give you an example of leadership this year that kind of came to another level was Jake Voracek. Like Jake, there's no game or practice where I think any of us looked and said he didn't give everything he had, and that's huge. Here's one of your top players, and he's taken his game to another level, but he's also taken his leadership. Jake can certainly grow a little bit more there, but that's just one example of a guy that kind of came to the forefront this year and became a leader on our team. I think Wayne Simmons stepped it up this year. I think in the past, Simmer at times might get a little bit frustrated, and this year he was much more in control, still driving his teammates and playing hard every shift and every practice. So obviously along with G, and we've got more leadership in there than I think people believe. But again, there's a maturing process.
You have an owner who's been waiting a long time for a winner, who's now in his 80s. How patient is he going to be, and what has he indicated to you about his feelings about if this takes 2 or 3 years to get to the level you want it to be, about how he feels about that?
Well, Mr. Steiner's been great. Like, we're on the same page in terms of he wants us to keep our young players, he wants us to keep our draft picks, and quite frankly, there's no other option there. It's just not going to happen. Nothing else is going to happen. No, on the other hand, we feel the same way, that if we can make moves to make our team better long-term and short-term without giving up the young assets, we're going to do everything we can. So that part, I mean, I said earlier, we owe it to our players and our fans and the organization to be as good as we can be in October. And that's the goal right now, is to keep your young players in picks and also be as good as we can be in October. And quite frankly, we need to get better. We need to find ways to get better, and we will.